I think you hit on a really important point because, as I understand it, the redistricting would happen in time for the 2009 election and then would happen again following the 2010 census.
That's right.
What was the rationale for doing that? Mr. Silversten?
What was the rationale for doing it the way that the City Council has put it on the ballot?
That might be a question for the councilwoman.
I don't want to pass the buck, but...
No, that's fine.
I think there are a couple of reasons for putting this on the ballot for next year. And again, I don't, agree with the original proposal, and I had mixed feelings about making that effective, the first change effective next year. I think part of the reasoning is that to make the change now and to make it effective in 2013, it sort of creates a big elephant that sits over the council for the next 4 years. And I think we saw a situation, I personally see a situation where we'd have the council infighting and savaging itself over the next 4 years as to who's going to be there, who's not going to be there in 4 years. And I think one of the reasonings for just biting the bullet and making a change now is that we eliminate that factor. And it's going to be bloody whether it's in 4 years or whether we do it now and get it out of the way. So I think that was one of the real big factors in deciding to do it in 2009. But again, it was far from unanimous, and a lot of my colleagues have very mixed feelings about making such a big change in such a short period of time.
Today at the City Club of Cleveland, we are listening to a special program featuring local blogger and neighborhood activist Bill Callahan, Cleveland Councilwoman Phyllis Cleveland of Ward 5, and Matt Silversten with Jones Day, moderated by Eric Wellman of 90.3 WCPN. Now we would like to return to our speakers for the traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including guests. First question, please.
Don't you remember?
Sorry. Hi. Out of the 110 amendments not selected by the council, which one would you have liked to see added to the 6 proposed by the council?
Begin with Mr. Silverstein.
That's racking the brain type question. That's a difficult first question. I have to say that I think that the 6 proposals that the council decided, and Bill actually was exactly right. It's not really 6. It's more like 20 or 26 proposals if you look at it. I really do think that they were a good first crack at this. I would say that one thing that I think I would like to see on there that is not is the proposals that Bill talked about at the beginning, changing this process. I think the council, the commission, felt very strongly that this process is incredibly important but needs to be refined a little bit. And there's one thing that we, the 15 of us on the commission, were experts at, and that is the Charter Review Commission. And taking the knowledge that we acquired through the 6 months that we worked on it, I think we came forward with some pretty good proposals that will revise this. And so that would be something that I would like to see go forward. I will say, though, that I can kind of understand why maybe this one would be a back burner, because whatever, we recommended that it be 10 years from now. So, it's something that there is time to get on a ballot, but I think that it's crucial that some changes to the charter review process be made.
Councilwoman?
Yeah, I agree with Bill and with Matt. Yeah, the real change that I want to see is that this regarding the structure and the format of the Charter Review Commission. 6 months is far too short, and 20 years is way too long. And again, with the technology and the way things are changing in the world, we've got to be more on top of things. It would make the entire process much less onerous and much less difficult if we did it that way. And let me just add, there was a 117th Amendment, and that was to require Bill Callahan to serve on the next Charter Review Commission.
Which I'm going to campaign against. You know, I actually, some of us did individual statements in the report, and one of the points I wanted to make in my statement was that over 6 months, I hadn't heard anything presented. I voted for most of the 116, but the standard I was using was, on balance, I think this would improve things, right? If the standard had been, this has to be done because we have a real problem that needs to be solved, I had hardly any that I thought were that plate. This was not really a presentation of crises. This was a presentation of potential improvements. So I'm fine with whatever order these things go in, although I think that it is important if you're going to, for example, deal with the level of contracts that can be done, between the the administration and city council, that it makes no sense not to do that immediately, right? If you think that, that there's actual administrative changes that will make the city work better financially, then, get it done, right? But generally speaking, there's nothing on my list that I would say, they shouldn't have left this off. There is, however, something they put on the ballot, which I am a small minority of the commission, that I wish they had not put on, which is shortening the period between the time a non-emergency ordinance is passed and the time it becomes law from 40 days to 30, because that basically is a 25% reduction in people's right to take it to the ballot on a referendum, and I can't see how it solves the problem that it was intended to solve, which is a very limited bond issuance problem, which is actually dealt with separately in the same proposal. But that's just me. It literally is just me. I think it was I think it was a 12-to-1 vote, right? So I have no process complaint about that at all. It's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Let's see if we can take another question from the audience.
Councilwoman, I believe it was in your opening remarks that you alluded to the possibility of the 6 issues that are going on the ballot being overshadowed by the presidential election, and with history tells us that we'll have record numbers showing up at the ballots this election season. What's the plan by council to have the public debate or engage the public in what's going on and inform the public about the issues that are on the ballot?
Thank you, Jeff. Our plan is to continue doing forums like fora like we're doing today. We're going to be doing making our rounds of the media, radio stations, using Channel 20, our public access cable channel, and other community meetings where we can, get out to the public and let them know, what the ballot issues are, what they actually mean, what impact they'll have on the citizens and the city of Cleveland. So, we will definitely be doing that, between now and the election day.
I think it was mentioned earlier, the process of city council and how it operates is more important than the size of council. And I was wondering if there was anything that was suggested by the commission as far as improving the process of city government, as far as how it relates to business, how it relates to constituents within the city.
One of the proposals that is going to be on the ballot is, in my opinion, one of the most important proposals, and will have an immediate and direct, and I think large benefit to the people of Cleveland. And that's, it sounds boring, but the contract procurement proposal. Basically, in 1989, the minimum, basically council has to pass an ordinance to accept a contract with the city. But there's a small purchase exception, and that small purchase exception was in 1989 set at $10,000. So the process right now, at least the testimony that we were presented with, was it basically takes as much as 135 days to get a contract with the city for something over $10,000. We have recommended, in the city council, I think wisely, decided to put on the ballot raising that to $50,000.